Hi, everyone. Welcome to live stream with me, Dr. Aparajita Gidigunta. I am the founder and CEO of AJ Rao LLC and the creator of the upcoming C3EB Summit. And I am so excited to bring to you today one of our keynote speakers for the upcoming C3EB Summit and one of my personal friends and sisters, Coach Ber-Henda Williams. So a little bit about BerHenda before we get into the fun stuff. Ber-Henda Williams is a visionary and empath coach who supports women to embrace their empathic gifts, shift culture, and break barriers through their mission-based businesses. She is also pretty formidable with the pen, as she is an award-winning poet and is the founder of The Power of Girlhood, a leadership institute for girls 8 to 18. So I personally know that BerHenda does so much work in the community around, kind of the mind, body, spirit, synchrony work, and also leadership work, and really helping people to be the best versions of themselves that they can absolutely be. So BerHenda, first of all, welcome to the live stream. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And, you and I have had several offline conversations about this, but just for our viewers, the work that you do is not for the faint of heart, as, you and I were talking about. It is work that requires you to be fully present and engaged day in and day out. What can you tell our listeners and our viewers what drives you to take on this kind of work and to transform people in the powerful ways that you do?
Well, thank you for naming it powerful. I appreciate that. I would say that what fuels me is the girls, creating a better world for them and helping to create space for them, for their voices, but also for this current generation of feminine leaders who are endeavoring bravely to really go into their own personhood, to dig deep within their empathic giftings and their humanity to use their personal power for a greater shift that we want to see in the world.
Absolutely. And I think that's what actually makes it so powerful, right? Is that there really is this necessity now for us as, for those of us who identify as women to step into the wholeness of what womanhood means and without, and then shed those cloaks of the outdated masculine leader conditioning, I'll even say garbage that we've been fed our whole lives. So that's exactly why I think what you do is so powerful, because you allow and empower women to say, this is leadership too. I'm a leader as well. Yeah. So I appreciate you immensely for that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's so important that we, one, reconcile, the masculine within us and learn to lead in the feminine. I just don't think up until this point, we really haven't been doing that. We've been talking about it, and there are leaders like yourself, who are demonstrating it. But I feel like there's deeper work to do of that feminine expression.
Absolutely. Including, I'm constantly doing the work and learning myself, and it's like every layer I uncover, there's like 10 more layers, beneath it that I then have to go deeper and keep uncovering and keep uncovering. So it's an ongoing process. So I'm curious, what I remember when I brought the summit to you and I said, hey, can you please, I think it's so important to have your voice in this. Will you please be a speaker in this summit, so that I can shine the light on you. You heard all about my big why, and you heard all about like why I felt really called to do this now. So I'm curious, what was your big why to agreeing to lend your expertise and your voice to this space that I'm creating?
Sure. I think that it's important that, when we have conversations about gender and we have conversations about race, these aren't just binary conversations. And that many times, yes, the conversation and the wound does go race deep between black and white. But I think the idea, we need to even pause for a moment and think about blackness, thinking about dark and the job colonialization has done to reiterate that anything dark is bad and anything light or white is good. And that psychological construct that got developed and is so embedded in our culture and what we do and how we present ourselves, even to names. I have a full body name, you have a full body name. So 20 guesses what we are on a resume. And so our people that are looking at resumes, what lens are they honestly looking through? And to say that a person doesn't have bias, I mean, we all do. But the thing is, we have to own it. The only way that you can really, in my work is with shadow, with working with things that are hidden, you have to shine a light on them. And they don't necessarily have to be bad, but if you don't call it forward, it does damage. It does damage to self. And self is comprises up the whole. And so I saying yes to, your summit, it was saying a yes to the world that I envision, that I think a world that works for all, that's possible. And so again, you have to have these not just conversations, but directed actions, but you also have to have an inclusive space of voices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly, what I was what I envisioned and what I'm creating, not trying, creating,
Mm-hmm.
in the next few weeks. So I know that, what you're going to be talking about, the keynote you're going to be giving at the summit, I already know it's going to be powerful because I have insider info thanks to being the creator of it. But can you give our listeners and our viewers a little bit of a teaser on, what they can expect to hear from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the title is a little tongue in cheek, calling in black, but I think for anyone who deals in the realm of humans, so your HR professionals specifically deal with it, your C suites. Um, when things happen, and I know you'll love this because you're a researcher, doctor, particularly in the African American community when it comes to a murder, like a trauma, a traumatic event. It takes the community about 90 days to heal from it. So you can imagine how that cycle is then, it's exponential because it just keeps happening and it's kept happening. And there are things that are passed in utero that go from one generation to the next generation. The DNA becomes altered. And so I think that it's really important that, in our space where we talk about mindfulness practices, I've seen a lot of companies bring in, professionals to help with breathing and mindfulness. Systemic racism also requires mindfulness too, and the fallouts of it. So when your Black employees, specifically, when we see trigger trigger worthy images, from Starbucks to the lynching of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and still reconciling the justice, for Breonna Taylor, it weighs heavy. And so, yes, it weighs heavy on the Black community, but see, I believe we're all interconnected, so it weighs heavy on us all. So we have to create those spaces. So I do see now a movement toward companies declaring Juneteenth a national holiday. So it's a paid day. But what about the month of February? So are we going to be able to call off the month of February?
Yeah.
Because a lot of and it's not that it's a bad thing, but you can't wait till February or June to talk about not just Black history, it's the Black experience. Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
when we're talking about the Black experience, I just even want to center it around, again, dark, the experience. What has that been like? What is that like? And what is necessary for companies to do to not just put your BLM statement on your website or issue a release.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a practice.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
something that you have to embed into your own mitochondria, your own, so that it becomes second nature for you to be an advocate.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know that actually, deeply ties in. I mean, so you are about to launch something on Monday that it just so deeply aligns with and ties in with everything that the C3EB Summit is about in so many ways. Can you tell us a little bit about this program that you're launching and what people can expect from it? And I will put the link where people can sign up.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, yes, Decolonizing Your Business is a 4-week program that's happening starting this Monday. And it's going to really go into, again, history of colonization and how it's impacted race, and moving into modern day things that we see from it, such as colorism. That's the whole thing. Classism, that's another thing that we don't always talk about, especially when we talk about coalition building, because it always tends to be the college educated, well talented 10th and WEB. I mean, love you, bro, but there's some places where the work could use a little work.
Yeah.
And then addressing the sister wound, the fallout of feminism, again, wasn't very inclusive into this day. When we look at the movement, it's still not fully inclusive. And if it is not intersectional, then it just does not work.
Yeah.
So I want to help business owners, particularly those who identify as conscious business owners, who identify as thought leaders, impact-driven entrepreneurs. I really want you all to think about how to, again, look at the DNA, the molecular level of your business, because really it's the molecular level of you, because you are your brand. How do then you shift the conversation and in some ways give up some power?
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you bring up that idea of giving up that power, because that is, I think, so scary for people, right? Of giving up that power. But I like how you frame that as, you shift your thoughts. And so for me, whenever I think about giving up that power, it's also, there is, as a business owner, that cost benefit analysis of, yes, but what am I gaining from it? When I create this space for somebody else, what are the tangible benefits in my growth that I'm having by learning from their perspectives? So I think that is going right off the bat, like that is going to be such a huge outcome and deliverable that is going to benefit anybody who participates in this course, which, I mean, I recommend this to. I know you said that this is ideal for small business owners, especially coaches, consultants, and creatives,
For
right?
corporate folk, I feel like can benefit from this too, especially if you want to come at it from a holistic approach, which, I mean, we see now moving in our lexicon, the whole ideal of agile business. I mean, that's feminine.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's operating in the feminine, where the
Yeah.
leadership is collective, where there's a design-based thinking, there is a buy-in from the entire team, and you ask questions versus getting all defensive. Get curious.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can put whatever label you want on it, but I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah. That is so true. That is so true. I've never thought about that. Thank you.
That's what it is.
It
I mean,
is.
honestly, that's what it is. And emotional
Yeah.
intelligence, that just means you're empathic. You're striving toward a greater deal of empathy. And then emotional intelligence, again, it's according to who? Because not just the landscape of who's in front of you, because if you're talking about upper level management, then you're talking about middle-aged white men. You're talking about becoming empathy as a whole, because your bottom line, or to me, your triple bottom line is, yes, both profit, purpose, and people. So if you're really looking at your corporate social responsibility, it does take a great deal of emotional intelligence. And just, wherever you are, wherever your business is housed, look at the schools and the zip code that your business is in. Look at the after school programs, or lack thereof, in the zip code that you're in. What kind of sustainable farming or food system exists? Water, any of those things. That's, to me, emotional intelligence, is being cognizant.
I completely agree. I completely agree. That's what in my terms, I call it conscientious leadership, right? Where you are being very conscientious about being, like the looking at these and becoming aware of these, and learning from your environment, about your environment, and all of that. These are conscious choices made by conscientious people who realize the interconnectedness, as you said, and realize the importance of the interconnectedness of the entire ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So I think your program is going to be so powerful. And I am so proud of you, and I am constantly inspired by you for giving so much to help people, again, be the best versions that they can be, while being of service to their communities and to themselves, really, even at the end of the day. So thank you so much for creating this program for us, and for everything that you do. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for agreeing to be a keynote speaker at the upcoming C3EB Summit. I guarantee you don't want to miss BerHenda's talk at the summit. So make sure you go register at www.c3eb.com so that you can get access to the links where you can watch Ber-Henda Williams give a keynote speech on Calling in Black at the C3EB Summit. You'll get more details once you register, so make sure you register, and we will see you at the summit August 26th through the 28th of 2020. So thank you, BerHenda, for being here and doing this interview. And we'll be back with another interview soon. And BerHenda's program starts Monday, so make sure you go sign up today. Monday. Yes, this Monday, like 2 days from now.
So it can be this coming Monday. Yeah, and a portion of the proceeds does go to the Power of Girlhood program. So just so people know, you are going to give back to the next generation of leaders. So yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. So you get to learn and decolonize your mind and your business, while also helping the Power of Girlhood, which is a nonprofit. So that's fantastic. That's a great model. And it's also a great model for people to model, and think about incorporating into their businesses. So, as you can see, BerHenda is somebody who definitely walks the walk in terms of the way she structures all of this. So I highly recommend joining her course, and I highly recommend registering for the summit. Once this live stream is done, I will drop the link to BerHenda's course in the comments, so you can directly click on it, go register, and starting on Monday, you can decolonize your business and your mind.
That's right.
All right. Yep. All right. So thank you. And we'll be back with another interview soon. And thank you again, BerHenda, for being here. And thank you for everybody who tuned in, whether live or later, to watch this. I hope this was as insightful for you as it was for me. And on that note, we'll come back soon.
All right.